how you doing? Hey, I decided to work on Smiley's Homelite Super XL Auto today. It's been a rough one, I'll tell you. So I'm in the process of changing out the big bearing, the PTO side bearing. And I just got it in, and I can tell you this is probably the worst bearing change I've ever done. I had to heat it, then I had to heat it some more, then I had to heat it some more. I hammered on it and hammered on it and hammered on it. I'll tell you what, this thing did not want to come apart. Now, you can't use like a normal hammer either. Like, you gotta have something, softer, because you're beating on the end of the crankshaft and you don't want to screw up those threads. But man, it took forever. I think it took me 2 hours just to get the bearing off. And that's after a tremendous amount of heat. I mean, the bearing turned like blue, purple kind of ish color before I got it to budge. Yeah. So I was changing colors in the bearing before I even got it to budge. But I got her done now. Took forever, a couple hours, but I got her. Actually, let me show you. If you've never installed a bearing on a Homelite Super XL Auto, you might like to know this information. All right, so here it is on. You can see you got the set screws and all this stuff here for the bearing. So basically how I do it is I seat either the bearing onto the case part first, or I seat it onto the crankshaft first. I find it easier for me to seat it onto the case first. That way I can go ahead and put my set screws in and everything. And then after I get it on, I run the crankshaft up in, and then you got it on this side. But then I start stacking stuff in there. So I had some old sprockets sitting in here with a socket, some washers. I had all this stuff stacked in here, and then I used a nut. And by having all that stacked in there nice and tight, all I had to do was tighten the nut up, and it sucked everything in. That's the easiest way to change these bearings, is to use one of those methods. Just got to be careful when you're using a socket, because she gets skinny about halfway through and you got this hump. You don't want to get it jammed up on there and screw up your threads. So that's why I like using old rim drives. I just stack them in there until I have the right thickness, So yeah, that's what I was doing tonight. I got that all done and so forth. I needed to get this done because I need to set the exhaust timing on the port job. So I had to get the bearing changed out and everything. I basically got to reassemble the bottom end of the saw and start putting it together in order to, check my squish and all that stuff, get my exhaust number figured out. So that's what you see me doing here. Now something else I'm going to have to do here. You see this plate? This is the oil tank, and she looks like she might be seeping some oil all the way around. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that off and get it resealed up, just a little extra step though. It would probably be fine. It just might, leak a little oil or whatever over a period of time. Heck, it may not even leak. Can't be 100% certain it's leaking, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. I don't have to do it right now. I just have to do it while the gas tank's off. So it's not something I have to do right now, but I will probably do that in the future. Now, if you've seen me port these Super XL Autos before, you would know that I do install kind of like an extra transfer or two on these saws, or you can even call it a finger port. I actually have that part done. I just don't have the cylinder here in my hand to show you. So I'll show you that here in an upcoming video. So I got those installed. But that's about it with this saw. So the ProMax 610, I did decide to do a little JB weld work to the intake and I'm just basically waiting for it to dry right now so I can do a little sanding. I have to build it up, you know, layer by layer or whatever until she's done. She actually might be dry enough for another layer right now though. I might be able to slop another one on, that way it's good for the night. I'll check here in a minute. But yeah, that's Promax 610. I'm just going to do a little JB weld work and get her shaped better with the intake system that those saws have. She's a little rough around the edges, if you know what I mean. Like there's this plastic part that goes on, and there's like a big step up from the hole coming through the carburetor to the intake size on the engine. So I just want to get it nice and a nice smooth transition, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of what I'm doing right there. Now I did order some chain and a sprocket for the Echo. So that's on its way. We're going to work at getting that saw set up with an 8-pin on full house, full chisel. So we'll be testing it with a different setup to see how it runs. Pretty stoked about this upcoming Saw Fest, so you know I got to work on getting some of that stuff done as well. I just got to do a bunch of muffler mods, and you know, I did order some parts for the Homelite Super XL 130. I'm pretty suspicious it's got an air leak, so I went ahead and ordered a set of reeds to put in it. I actually got 2 sets of reeds coming. I don't know which style I'm going to go. There's basically a pyramid style, like the saw comes with factory, but I also have a V-shaped reed that I'm going to see if I can get it to fit. I don't know if I will, but it doesn't hurt to try, you know? It's like 15 bucks for the reed, so I went ahead and ordered it, and we'll see what happens. I might get lucky, you know? But otherwise, I know the pyramid shaped, I can't change out the whole block if I just steal the reed pedals off of it. The reed pedals fit right on. They're an exact match to the Homelite style reed pedal. So I can just flop them over and put it back together, and you know, I'll have a brand new set of reeds in the 130. Those reeds that are in it just might be too weak for the ported saw, which could be giving me my air leak symptoms. It's a good possibility that's what's happening. So, you know, we'll consider that option. The saw has brand new set of seals in it, so you know what I mean. I don't know if it's going to be the seals. You know, they are brand new, and the saw doesn't have that much life on it. So I'm suspicious it's those reeds just being too weak for the build of the saw. My hand's all shaky in it. But anyway, hey, that's where we're at, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.